Welcome to Amplify Your Mindset with Ricky Kalman. Motivational speaker, mindset expert, and celebrity hypnotist Ricky Kalman has amazed audiences around the world. Kalman empowers his audience with simple but powerful techniques to boost confidence and belief toward their goals and to exceed their own personal and professional expectations. Each episode features business leaders, motivators, and incredible individuals who share how mindset has contributed to their success. Put awareness and action into your life with the confidence that you'll succeed at the things you want to make happen. Here is Ricky Kalman.
Hi, this is Ricky Kalman, and welcome to another episode of Amplify Your Mindset. My special guest is leadership keynote speaker Sam Silverstein. Sam empowers people to live accountable lives, transform the way they do business, and to thrive at extraordinary levels. Sam is the author of 7 books, including Non-Negotiable, No More Excuses, Making Accountable Decisions, No Matter What, The Lost Commandments, and The Success Model. As a former executive and owner, Sam's manufacturing and distribution company sold over $100 million in products and services. Global Gurus recently announced Sam Silverstein is one of the world's top 30 organizational cultural professionals. He has been referred to as the most trusted voice on accountability. Sam's clients are Kraft, PetSmart, Pfizer, and the Mayo Clinic, just to name a few. Sam Silverstein, welcome to the program.
Hey, Ricky, it's great to be here.
I love that intro. Did you hear that? That was just awesome. I'm excited just to talk to you.
I want to meet this guy. Who the heck are you talking about this morning?
Thanks for taking some time. Let's jump right into it. You have been speaking for how many years?
Approximately 26, but who's counting?
No, not at all. And how many days? No, I'm not even going to ask you that. No kidding aside, you're world renowned. In fact, we were talking right before we started recording this. You've got a lot of different programs, but one of your programs, and I want to go back a little bit, but this was really exciting. How many languages are your programs translated into?
Well, we have a cultural assessment. It's called the Accountability Index, and it gives us an incredible view deep into an organization's culture. And we actually come up with a number where we are able to assess if accountability is strong or weak in an organization. And that's now available in 20 languages.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I'm having trouble just with my language, and you got 21?
20, and I can honestly tell you, I wasn't the one that translated them. But
okay, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah, but we find a couple of things. One, it's used internationally, and that's really awesome. We're excited about that. We also run into companies that maybe in for instance, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, were a client of ours, where they had 14 different languages that were spoken on the manufacturing floor. And the reason is because immigrants are being settled into communities all over the United States, and you never know what you're going to find inside of an organization. Or even a client of ours in Houston has an office in Quebec, and so they want French, and we're able to offer it.
That's fantastic. All right, let's go back a little bit. How did you get started? Where was the starting point? Where was the point that inspired you to do what you do?
Wow. I had a window and door manufacturing business. I was in a family business. I was in with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, and really things were humming along and everything was great. And then, quite frankly, I went to a seminar one time, and I saw Tom Hopkins teach sales, and I go, wow, this is just awesome. And naive and whatnot as I was at the point, I said, well, I could do that. But, it kind of rolled off. But I developed a relationship with Tom, and he told me that his career really took off when he wrote his first book. And over a period of time, I noticed a lot of people coming to me and thanking me for the advice that I'd given them. And quite frankly, I didn't even remember having the conversations in the first place sometimes. But I thought to myself, if I can have a positive impact on someone's life without trying, what would happen if I did try? And that just was an awakening for me. And I said, well, based on the blueprint that's been given to me, I need to write a book. And so that's what I did. I wrote a book, and I started speaking. The books came in. I remember I sent the first copy to a trade association, and I was hired to speak in front of 1,500 people. It was crazy.
Wow. You still remember that day, don't you?
Oh yeah, you never forget that one. But I've been blessed to have some incredible clients and be able to share the stage with some incredible speakers and really connect with people and continue on my mission. It's evolved. Originally it was about making a difference, and that's fine, but my mission really is to build a more accountable world. That's what I want to do. And so every decision I make is going through that lens, that perspective. How can I make a more accountable world? How do I help people be more accountable? How do I help organizations be more accountable? And how do we build a more accountable community?
That's got to be inspiring to you because you haven't stopped, and that's a unique thing. Some people write 1 or 2 books. You're on 7, and I'm sure you have a few in the works right now that we don't even know about.
Exactly. I have one now that'll be coming out next year. I just, no matter what, just came out in September, but I'm about 25% of the way of my next book coming out in 2019.
I have a question for you, and this is an observation that I came up with. Not really a question, more of a statement here. What I find really fascinating about you is that you are a great storyteller, but you see things that other people don't see, meaning you can walk by a situation, you can hear a story about somebody doing something that's an incredible accountability story, and most people walk by that and not even see it, not even envision what you see and how you can then send that message to others. Does that make sense? It's a very unique talent that I think you have, and I know you have, and it's fascinating to me as you will look at things as though you're looking into a screen and you pick a story up so fast.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think that partly that comes because I feel like I am on mission, and secondly, I really work hard to stay focused on what it is that I'm passionate about. And so when you combine that, I think it puts you in that position. But I truly believe that everything we've been taught about accountability is wrong, that we see accountability as a way of doing, and accountability is really a way of thinking. It's not about doing stuff. It's about commitments between people. It's how we see people and what we believe about relationships. And it's a much deeper topic than most people understand. And so in my service of teaching this, I start looking for things. I mean, just this morning I saw an article that I realized that needs to be turned into an article, a news issue, and that's where a reseller of mobile phone services decided they were going to charge every time you took your SIM card out of your phone and put it in a different phone, there was going to be a $15 charge. Well, there's an accountability issue there. And it might not sound like accountability, but it really is, because what's happened is here's an organization that says, this is what we think of you, our customers, that every time you take your chip, your SIM card out and put it in another phone, we're going to ding you for another $15. How can we get another 15? Ding. How can we get another 15? Ding. There's no relationship there. There's no accountability from the company to the people. They don't have your back. They're not with you. They're not supportive of you. And so there's a dramatic lack of accountability from an organization to a customer. But then the next question becomes, and this is just how my mind works, Ricky, is, well, what about the employees? If I work there and I know that this organization is just trying to ding the customers, what are they trying to do with me? What's my relationship? How secure is it? Do they really care about my future? Are they helping me reach my potential? I mean, this just goes on and on. And so I know it's crazy, but this is how my mind works.
It never stops. I mean, I think that every speaker I've ever spoken to on a personal level, and I ask them the question, is like, do you ever shut down? Because I don't. I find like I'm always thinking. It's one conversation that leads me back to, what I do and what you do, I'm sure. So I'm going to ask you that question. Do you feel like you're always on?
Well, that's a great question. I feel like that. Do I relax? Yes. Do I go on vacation? Yes. Will I sit out on the beach or hit the slopes and go skiing? Absolutely. But I believe that if I'm trying to create a more accountable world, there's a standard that I'm shooting for, and
Right.
that never goes away. And so I'm in a conversation with somebody, and somebody says something that's just wrong, that maybe is disrespectful of somebody or some group of people. And in the past, where I might let that roll off, I can't anymore, because when if it's wrong, it's wrong, and if it's not truth, it's not truth. And if I don't stand up and say something, what I allow in my space, I condone, I support. And I try to teach that to everyone. I'm not going to be rude to someone. I'm not going to yell at somebody. But, we have friends that we go out with, and this one guy will say something that's just not right. It's maybe demeaning towards women or people that are earning a certain amount of money or something. And I'm like, I'll just put the brakes on when he says something and go, wait a second. You just disrespected a whole group of people. That's not right. And so I guess I can't help myself at this point. I feel like as human beings, we have to stay behind the truth, because if we don't, then what do we have?
Okay, so then I'm going to restructure that question in a way, because I'm going to clarify that. It's not that you're always on. You have trained your brain. You've trained your brain in such a way that's a cultural way of thinking for you. And that's why you're an expert in this field. You can have a normal life. You can do all the things to relax and have fun and family and recreation. But at the same time, when something happens, you've trained your brain to react to it and take all the knowledge that you have and explain to somebody why that's an accountable factor. Would that be fair?
Well, I've never thought of it that way. Yes, that's exactly what's happened.
And I look at it this way.
On target, yeah.
It's no different from somebody that plays great, amazing golf all the time, and somebody goes, how do you do it? How do you always play so well without any distraction? We just had this big conversation about this big acquisition, and now all of a sudden you're playing so great and without any fault of a negative or doubtful feeling, because great golfers train the brain. Even a mechanic that literally is taking apart a car, they might not be thinking about emails or personal life. They are trying to focus on the structure and stay organized in what they're doing in the process. So as we do things, I truly believe we train our brain to make automatic, unconscious decisions based on the way we believe about something, which then again amplifies our mindset. Not to be to go back to the title of the program, but it really is. And what you just said was a great example, because at first I asked you, are you always on? And our first response is, yeah, am I always on? Do I relax? But you do. I know you do, because I know you personally. But I also know the way you think in a way that when I've gotten to know you, is that it's just amazing to me how quickly you can pick up on something, and that's what makes you an expert in what you do. So the next question is, what inspires you, besides doing what you do and getting results from that? How do you stay inspired?
Okay, hold on to that. We got to back up 1 second. You can't lay all that on me and then just move on to the next question. We cannot do that. You said something there that was critical, and I want to make sure, and I know you get it, but anyone listening to this, I think if we stopped right now, this is really the crux. You talked about knowing what you believe. You have to know what you believe. And people don't realize the depth of that statement. Do you know what you believe? Oh, yeah, I know what I believe. They don't. They really don't. And I'll tell you how I know they don't. They don't because they say one thing and they do another. Now, my father always told me actions speak louder than words. We've all heard this. I personally have heard it 73,264 times from the lips of my father. I mean, he never left the room without saying that practically. It was crazy. But, you know what someone believes by watching what they do. If you treat someone nice on the street corner and I'm watching you, I know what you believe about people, no matter what you say. But when there's an incongruency, then either you're a liar or you truly don't know what you believe. And that's what I see is the biggest problem in businesses today. They don't know what they believe. They're real quick to slap a set of values on the wall and then act in a different way. And so they don't know what they believe. And so what you pointed out, Ricky, is really at the very core is it's critical that we take the time, each and every one of us, to truly think about what is it that we believe? What do we believe about everything? Because only then can we make the decisions that we want to make and align our lives the way we want to align our lives. That's how you amplify your mindset, because what happens is you know what your beliefs are, and you're making sure consistently and constantly that your actions align with that mindset, with those beliefs.
It's a programming.
Absolutely, but it's a programming based on having certain knowledge, which is what do you believe? What is it based on? You know, what is your foundation? It comes from somewhere. It's not. I mean, it can be Alice in Wonderland. If that's your foundation, then live it and live it consistently. Right. It could be the Torah. It could be the Bible. It could be the Quran. It could be from good to great. I don't care what your foundation is, but you better know what it is, and you need to stay consistent with those beliefs. That's how you amplify your mindset, because then that conditioning is based on something that's proven, that's truth, and that's consistent.
And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a leader, executive, sales, customer service, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do professionally or even personally, even in your own lives, your relationships, you want to get more passionate, you want to get more profitable, you want to get more productive, be more inspired. I truly believe what you just said is one of the keys why people admire others that are so successful, because they understand what you just said. And it's not that hard. It's not overwhelming. Change should never be scary. Change should be exciting. Change should be good. And if you will, in leveraging that understanding of what you just said.
Yeah. See, it's that alignment. When your actions are truly aligned with what it is that you believe, that's when the excitement happens.
Yep. And everybody wants to know, what are you doing? How do you do it?
Right. And you talked about admired. That's when you are living that kind of aligned life. Then and people see that, and that's who we line up to follow. You just described the great leaders.
And great leaders want other people to be great as well. And that's what's so amazing. People look at it and go, well, maybe you can't get too close, or, they're not going to reveal all their secrets because that's who they are. No, I think great leaders make great leaders.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because this morning the word or the phrase that I was thinking about, I just before we got on to do this interview, I'm thinking about scarcity versus abundance. And that's what you're talking about. It's a leader that sees abundance, that if you're my leader, giving everything to me that you know about leadership, making me the absolute best, doesn't take away from you. It creates more. What is in you is now amplified through me, and it will come back to you. And people that see life through the lens of scarcity are always going to lack. And people that see life through the lens of abundance are always going to have more than they need. And it's real simple. Where do you want to be?
Right. Okay, let's go back to the question.
Not to change the subject on you or anything like that.
No, not at all. All right, I want to go back. Because
okay.
I want to ask you the question, what inspires you?
Well, you inspire me. People around me that are friends, that are peers, that are on their mission, that are doing amazing things, that are impacting lives. They inspire me. And I have a network of people in my life that are like that in all areas. And it's real easy to look at someone that's doing something great and go, man, he or she's lucky, or I wish I could be like them. No, I don't look at it that way. I go, wow, they're just rocking it. And so how do I rock it? How do I get better? How do, that's a big driver for me. And certainly not to be clichéic, but my wife inspires me. She's my number one fan, and I want to be better for her. And so she inspires me to make a bigger difference.
Yeah. You got me speechless on that one. That's, it's funny. I was going to say in a way that I wonder how many people actually step back on a daily basis and think about the things that you just said. And I think that goes back to accountability. Do we look at the things that inspire us, not only at work, but on our personal life, our significant others, our relationships, the people we interact with, our friends? It's something that I think we have to step back and put it in check. Kind of like a grocery list. I think you have to make sure that that's on your list.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to who do you surround yourself with? Who do you hang with? I don't know. I've been just so fortunate and blessed that as a member of the National Speakers Association, I've met some people that have come into my life, and just the relationships I've never imagined I could have relationships at the depth that I have these personal relationships. And
I know you're being honest here. I know you're being very truthful and very transparent, but I'll even put it out there too. Not only were you inspired by them, you were the president of the National Speakers Association.
Well, yes, but that's a separate issue. But it's like there were four of us that got together about 2 months ago with our spouses. All of our spouses having to work in the business, but we got together for a long weekend, and we played and we ate and we talked shop, it was just this. I was with people that really are doing amazing things, in a lot of ways, a lot more amazing than what I'm doing, and so again, it's like that to me re-energizes me. It fills my battery up, and I'm like, and we're sharing and giving to each other, and I mean literally, it's I don't know. I came to this belief that we're all parts of three families. There's the family we're born into, and we have no control over that. There's the family we marry into, and really we're only controlling one individual in that, and not controlling, but we only get to choose one, And then there's the family that we choose, that we select into. And so I think it's critical that those people that we select to hang out with, to be with, that, if you're picking good people with big hearts that are generous, that are doing amazing things, and I don't mean earning a lot of money necessarily, but someone that in their community is making a difference, or, that's behind a cause. One of our friends is just so behind this one cause, and I'm like, when I watch what she does, that's inspiring. Whether I believe in her cause or not is not the issue. The issue is here's a woman who believes in something so strongly that she devotes her day to making it happen. How can I not be inspired when I hang out with people like that? And, I get that from you, because I know what you do, and I know the audiences that you work with, and I know how, our moms are in similar situations, Ricky. We've talked about this, and I see the devotion that you have for your mom and how you look after her. That's inspiration for me.
Well, thank you. And but I think that as you're talking about this, your relationship with the other friends and how you guys communicate together, work together on different ideas, and just having a common interest. I'm going to go back to the business side of that for a quick second, because as you're describing this, I'm thinking that's a great culture in a business. When other people are not competitive, as they're working with the team, they're holding themselves accountable, they learn from each other, they're inspired by each other. So it's not just one person being inspired, they all get inspired by being with each other. And is that fair to say that that makes a great accountable culture?
That is the foundation. You nailed it, and that's it's one of the questions I ask. Why can't we have relationships and treat people in business the way we treat people in our personal lives?
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking when you were telling me this story, and we got personal for a second. And we got real. I mean, they got very emotional for a second for me when we started talking about that. But then I realized, wait a minute, hold on a second. Why can't we have that type of? I'm not saying we have to open up to everybody in the office, but I'm talking about understanding to be respectful, to have great communication skills, to be a great leader, to help each other grow an organization.
Okay. So then we have to throw out stupid sayings like this isn't personal, this is business. See, it's how we think. We have to change the way we think as a society, because the truth of the matter is it's very personal. I mean, this is this podcast right now. This is business. This is your business. This is my business. But yet our conversation is very personal. And when someone goes to work and they work 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, you better believe that everything that happens is personal. It affects you as an individual. And so those leaders that get that and that build relationships in a business where the people they lead know that their leader cares about them as a human being, it's a total different type of relationship. It creates a total different type of culture. And let me tell you something, that's the auger that accountability thrives in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a great takeaway. In fact, that's a simple takeaway as we become more observant. So when you're turn this off today, or whether you're listening in your car, or you're listening on your phone, or whatever it is that you're listening to this program, I think that's a simple takeaway. Be observant. Look around you. Would that be fair?
Oh, absolutely. It goes. You know what? It kind of goes back to that example I gave you about that cell phone company, and I thought to myself, is this how you would treat your mother? Are you going to charge your mother $15 every time? If you're the CEO of this company, would you charge your mother every time she changes that SIM card? Well, heck no, you wouldn't. Well, then why would you charge me?
Right. Well,
and if you say, well, you're not my mother, well, no. But how do you want your mother to feel? How do you want me to feel? How do you want the individual how do you want people to feel? Relationships are key. It's interesting because the organizations I work with that really get accountability, they're highly accountable organizations. Their accountability index scores come back off the charts. One thing that we've noticed is that they always master relationships. Mm-hmm. Relationships in those organizations are incredible. And it's the organizations that are struggling with relationships. They also struggle with accountability. They also struggle with attracting and retaining the best people. They also struggle with providing the best customer service. They also struggle with employee engagement. And guess what? They may be profitable, but they never reach their full profit potential.
For more information on everything we're just talking about, to dive more into Sam Silverstein's philosophy, his way of thinking, his tools, his training, everything, I highly recommend pick up one of his books. Don't even pick it up. Go download it right now. Buy it on Amazon. Go direct. You can pick up everything he has, and you'll be absolutely amazed because you're not recycling. You are literally giving new information all the time, and you're able to observe and then tell people, give people a different perspective on things that make them more accountable. I I hope I did that justice because I'm inspired by when I talk to you. You can also visit samsilverstein.com or IamAccountable.com. So Amazon, 7 books. I know by the time this even gets out, there might be in your head another book coming out. I know you got some more in the spring. Please take a few moments and check out more about Sam Silverstein. But before I let him go, I'm going to ask him a question. Sam, you're a road guy like me. I know you're on the road hundreds of days a year. What's the one thing that you love to take on the road with you that's like your one thing that's always with you? Is there one thing that you rely on besides your laptop, iPhone, or iPad? I stumped you.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
I know.
One thing that I take with me, sure, it's pretty simple. My journal. I take my journal with me. It's always the first thing that I drop in my carry bag, and it's there for me to do one of two things: either put my thoughts down in there, or go back and read what I was thinking about the other day, the other week, the other month. And so my journal goes with me wherever I go.
Fantastic. I love it. Sam, thanks for your time today. Again, always inspiring. Go check him out. IamAccountable.com. Thanks again, Sam.
My pleasure, Ricky. Thanks for having me on. It's been a great honor.
You have been listening to Amplify Your Mindset with Ricky Kalman. For more information on Ricky Kalman's corporate and personal development programs, visit rickykalman.com.